so use that one. It is 24 degrees Celsius here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome to your daily dose of sunshine. I'm sure the residents of Abuja will be needing all of it this morning. It's Sunrise Daily. Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm Malfe Ogun-Yusuf.
And I'm Ayo Makina. I promise you, it's good weather anyway. It's 26 degrees here in Lagos. And guess what? Today is the 5th day in the month of August 2026. Once again, welcome to the program.
Well, I'm sure that the sun is out for military personnel whom we understand have now witnessed an increase in their remuneration, and this certainly is something to cheer. But we'll wait and see how they receive the news, even though it might not be exactly, because really, how do you compensate people who have pledged their lives to serve fatherland? And we do know just what the security situation in Nigeria has been in recent times, in such a way that we're losing more and more of our men, because the country is at war. And clearly, our military personnel, all those who are laying down their lives for us, really do need to be well compensated. So it is commendable that indeed the President has deemed it fit to do something in that regard. We understand that the increments could range from between 30% to 80%. So hopefully that is a start. It might not be where exactly the military personnel, it might not be what they really deserve, but at least I believe that at least it shows that the country is at least appreciative of their efforts, and I believe it's a start. There might also be agitations that, it's not only the military personnel. Will this extend to police officers? Will it extend to other security agencies? These are questions that, we really need to ask. But in the meantime, at least the Commander-in-Chief has started, and I believe that this is something I will believe will continue to be extended, as we said, is a start. But it does appear that they're not the only ones seeing some ray of sunshine their way. It also appears that the resident doctors who were up in arms and have threatened to go on a strike have now also seen their issues resolved. So they're sheathing their swords for now, a little something to cheer as well. But the question for me, Ayo, is do we always have to wait? Don't we have, people who are responsible, who should be feeling their pains, who should understand, even though they'll say, well, he who wears the shoes feel it more, and they're the ones who would eventually complain. But there are questions as to, if you are under a leadership that is sympathetic, that works with you, before certain things arise, they should have been able to foresee it and forestall it, so that we don't get to the point where they are threatening a strike before we now begin to act. Or are we asking for too much?
No, I don't think we're asking for too much. If anything, I think we're just practically spot on, whichever way you look at that story, because whether we like it or not, there's only one life every one of us has. And the two stories you have raised are very, very similar. The NARD issue, for instance, we know for how long they have been talking about the same issue over and over again. And what's interesting, Markwe, is that we know there are medical practitioners, doctors in the Ministry of Health. There are medical practitioners, there are doctors in the various spaces. I mean, medical practitioners, not just doctorate degree holders, in all the sectors that have to do with the remuneration of these NARD members. So there is no reason, absolutely no reason. One of the things that I have seen, from my very, very little experience in the civil services, that the wheel of progress moves extremely slowly. And very frustratingly slowly, Markwe. And for many people, it is something that is just unacceptable. And so it's not that people don't have an understanding. It's not that the money has not been budgeted for. Why it is delayed, I think it is something that needs to be queried. Let the government agencies who need to do the needful do the needful. So far, thankfully, for how many years now, we haven't had cases of strike here and strike there. We've had threats of strike. Why do we ever have to get there at all? That's another thing. Don't forget, Malkwe, that the same military you were speaking about, there were some occasions, excuse me, in previous years, where some, lower level military staff, they were like, we can't take this anymore. We are in the woods for a very long time. No one seems to care about us and all. And of course, whatever punishment came to them at that time, but were there issues named? That's another conversation altogether. The information from the federal government, as far as the salaries of all the people who serve, they are valid and they should be given due regard. What I'm not sure of is whether or not the strike would have affected the private sector as well. But thankfully, it's been averted now. Can we now ask, is there a permanent system that will ensure that this case doesn't occur again, doesn't raise its head again? And for the military, we are grateful that even though it's in grades, 30%, 50%, and 80%, depending on the cadre of authority or cadre of officer that is involved, that's the way it is. And it may raise the wage bill to something almost $1 trillion. However, it is something that is very, very worth it. Add to that the fact, Markwe, that the federal government is also thinking about, increasing the number of troops that we have in the military. Kudos, we're grateful, but please, as Markwe has mentioned again, let us extend to the police again as well. I understand that there is also a call for more people to be employed in the police, gratifying, but then there is also this talk about the state police. We understand that the federal government is talking about presenting a bill before the National Assembly in September this year. That's next month. We wait to see how all of that goes. But Malkwe, that's what I see. Both of them are certainly salary related. Let's just pray that it's a permanent stop, because those who work, they should eat.
Indeed, that's extremely important, and that's something that we hope that the president, because he needs to lead by example. He's asked the governors to focus more on quality of life, improving the quality of lives of citizens, and we're hoping that in this regard he would lead by example by making sure that the lives of our frontline workers, be they in security or in the health front, are prioritized, that every life is important, but some people will say that maybe some are more important than others, because we do know that what will we do without security? What would we do without our healthcare practitioners? So, well, this is how it went down in the discussion that was had.
I want to put on record that this is not the first time the Chief of Staff has intervened in matters relating to resident doctors in this country. About 6-7 years ago, when he became Speaker, it was the first opportunity he had to intervene, and he has always intervened. And whenever he came into our issues, our matters are solved. And today, I can tell you our matters are solved. Solved in the sense that timelines have been agreed upon by various agencies of government on salary and promotion areas. We're talking about a week. On the call mill issue in Luth, we're talking about a week so that we'll get implementation. We have agreed on a figure, we have agreed on numbers. We have also agreed on house officers so that they don't have to wait for a whole month before they get the previous month's salaries. In fact, he has given a standing order that before the 10th of every month, salaries of house officers, I can't stand here and tell you I have called off a strike. What I will do, I have the utmost confidence that what he has done today has moved the needle to a very large extent to have solved our matters, and we'll wait for Monday. I have National Executive Council members. I will have a conversation. I have to report all of this back. We will sit down, we will take a decision. Now I want to specify some. You are missing the point. The point is, the person that called us for a conversation has never failed resident doctors. That is what I'm emphasizing. Can we hold on to that?
going right now to Plateau State, which is usually called the home of peace and tourism. But we do know that in recent times, that title seems to be something that is on paper. Not because Plateau State is not a home of peace, but because peace seems to be eluding it with the security challenges that it has been facing in recent times. It's been on for a while, but sometimes it gets a bit intense and it calms down again. But Plateau State, we do know, continues to remain one of the most gifted states in Nigeria, and not just in terms of its human resources, but also in terms of the resources embedded in the state. Anyone who visits Plateau State will know that that state has been blessed. And you sometimes wonder, who are those who are trying to curse what it is that the Almighty has blessed? Well, somebody is here and he says he thinks that he can turn around the fortunes of Plateau State if he is also given a chance to govern. Our guest this morning is Chief Kefas Ropshik, who is the PDP 2027 governorship candidate for Plateau State. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Good morning, Maope. Good morning, Aya. Good morning, Nigerians. And good morning, my Platonians.
It is good to see you in our studios. You are a son of the Plateau, and there are quite a number of questions to ask you. The first is that you are running on the platform. You're the PDP governorship candidate. The questions as to, that's a very bold one, in the sense that we also know the problems, the challenges that are bedeviling your party at the moment. We see that it is factionalized. So how confident are you that the matters will be resolved in the favor of the part or the faction that you belong to?
Okay, like I said again, good morning, Nigerians. The truth is this, the question I think is about the constitutional issue as far as I'm concerned. And there are legal judgments that have settled all of that, by my own understanding. And so I don't think it's an issue, because for now, the court and INEC have duly recognized the Abdurrahman PDP faction. But you see, what I keep telling people is simple. As far as I'm concerned, the day of the election, there's no individual's name that's going to be on the ballot. What is going to be on the ballot is PDP. And at the end of the day, the judgment and decision of the court is what is going to prevail. So for now, according to the Constitution, or by the Constitution, I think a judgment has been passed just like 2 weeks ago, and the mandate so far, for now, is in the hand of the Abdurrahman late faction. So we are comfortable, and that is where I am for now.
Okay, so, because some people say that's what has led to the defection of the governors from your party. Quite a number of governors defected, even those who would ordinarily not have defected. We have elections coming up in Osun State in a few days, and even the governor there, who was elected on the platform of the PDP, defected to their core party, hoping to be able to make it. You don't think that all of this defections also add to the uncertainty beclouding your party?
If I want to be very sincere, of course there are a lot of uncertainties, and I think for the governor of Osun State, I think as at the time he defected was the peak of the issue, right, or the peak of the crisis rather. And I don't want to fault his decision, but I think strongly that every politician just want to be on the ballot. But again, for some of us that believed in the party, we just believe that we should stay, we should be steadfast, because if we are running from issues in the political parties that are meant to be solved by the people in the party, then who is meant to remain in the party? And so for me, I think for most of the people that have defected is for their own personal and selfish interest, if I might say. But for some of us, we believe, like when the crisis was deep, I went around telling some of my party people, because as at that time, I think I was one of the only major stakeholder in the party that refused to defect. If you can remember, the governor defected sometime in January, right? But the moves for the governor to defect started, I think, sometime from November to December. The rumor was out there. But I told people, I said, for some of us, we believe strongly, especially the Plateau people, that Plateau is PDP and PDP is Plateau. PDP is like a religion on the Plateau. And that's the truth. And the governor got his mandate on the platform of the PDP. And so we believe strongly that some of us were part of the mandate that he got, because I contested with him in 2000 and the last election anyway.
2023?
Yeah, 2023. And I came second. But
in the primaries?
In the primaries, yes. So in the primaries. And we were there, we stayed, we never left. Even with the fact that, of course, some of us have reasons to have gone to court, but I believe in the party. I never went to court after the primaries, because I believe strongly that if destiny or God wanted me to be there, somehow I would have been there. But all I did was just support the government, support the governor, and I didn't be here much. And so we believe strongly that the mandate given was the people's mandate. And so some of us said then we faulted his movement because there was no proper consultation. His movement is entirely his personal opinion, right? And so we expect that if you are in a political party, if a decision like that is going to be taken, all of the stakeholders should be called, discussed, and reasons should be given, so that you can equally at the same time hear or listen to other either descending or more better opinion, right, for you to have moved or not to move. But again, like I said, it's his personal opinion.
Candidates lost their seat. I do remember it was in Plateau State. I can't remember what exactly the issue was, but I think it was also party related, where candidates elected on the platform of your party lost their seats. Those who were elected to the House of Reps and even Senate lost their seats as a result of some party dispute, or some dispute that affected the political party. The only reason why the governor was spared was because the Electoral Act allowed him to get up to the Supreme Court. For the rest of them whose cases stopped at the Court of Appeal, they all lost their seats. So do you think that this is a risk that is worthwhile taking?
Like I've always said to people, I'm into politics not because of my personal self, trust me. For anybody that knows me knows I'm a private sector individual that have developed myself over time. And so I went into the politics because I want to see what value we can add in the political terrain.
Yeah, so let me quickly add this. I know you said it's not personal to you, but do you think that that is a risk that the people of Plateau will be willing to take with you? Because if the first time they gave their mandate to your political party, the People's Democratic Party, and their mandate somehow was subverted by a court ruling, some technicalities or some legalese, let me put it that way, and somehow their mandate went to somebody else, not by their choice, do you think that this is a risk that they want to take again, with the knowledge that all is not exactly well with the platform you're standing on?
Very important question, but I think strongly again that, like I said, everything is a constitutional issue here that we're talking about. And for so far, the judgment has been passed, and it's in favor of the Abdurrahman-led ESCO. So I think that settles it. For the risks, if I am going to be in a political party to take risks for the people, I'm willing to do so. But I don't see it as a risk, because already, like I said, it's a legal issue that has been settled, and so we're good to go as far as I'm concerned. Now, like you rightly mentioned, it's unfortunate that the other people lost their seats, but again, at the end of the day, the issue again was still resolved legally, and that is why the governor is still there. So we believe in justice, and we believe, in fact, what is the major crux of the issue as far as PDP is concerned today is about the convention in Ibadan and the one that was held here in Abuja. And so it is explicit that the Ibadan convention has been null and void. So it's just common sense that, of course, the other convention that was held here, there was no any negative legal judgment about it. So I think we are good to go. And like I said to you, the most important thing in this discussion should be that, will PDP be on the ballot? Yes, if PDP is going to be on the ballot, then we are good to go. Now, I have had some levels of discussion with a lot of the people in the party. Even like on the Plateau today, we have both the Abdurrahman-led faction and the Turaki-led faction. Now, I believe strongly that we all need ourselves. And so I have reached out to the both sides to discuss that this issue, as far as we're concerned, is a national issue that has nothing really to do with some of us.
Are you the sole candidate between the two?
No, I'm not. It's another candidate. And I've reached out to him. Well, we're in discussion. And what I told him was simple. I told him, I said, we're in court. I think we should all work together for the betterment of the party, because the whole goal and aim for everybody is that PDP should be in the ballot and the right candidate should come and lead Plateau. And so, if at the end of the day, the judgment in any of the courts is in favor of him, then I will join hands with other people to work for him, because it's all for the benefit of the party. If it comes to me, it depends on his own mindset. If he's ready with his team to work with us, fine and good. But the most important thing I want you to understand here is this. The people, the voters, are not really concerned about this party tussle. They are concerned about PDP being on the ballot. And at the end of the day, they are going to come out and vote for PDP.
So has your name been uploaded then?
Yes, my name has been uploaded because, of course, like you know, it's a common knowledge that the Abdurrahman-led faction is the one that is recognizing and has recognized, and everybody, as far as the Abdurrahman faction is concerned, has been uploaded, and we're the ones that are on the platform of the INEC, and so we're good to go.
All right, so let's talk about the things that you are bringing to the people of Plateau. You are running on the platform of a Plateau First movement. I don't know, shall I say, I don't know whether to say that it's a reminiscent of Donald Trump. Are you a fan of Donald Trump?
I'm not a fan of Donald Trump.
I'm just wondering, because we've seen this before, America first. Maybe everybody should just say their country first, their state first, but you are running on the platform of the Plateau First. That's your hashtag, Plateau First. And you're also saying to the people of Plateau State that you will only be running for a term, which means that there is some arrangement between the people of, perhaps between the different senatorial constituencies.
Exactly.
The current governor and yourself from the same constituency, and you're saying you only do one term rather. That's 4 years. Why should they believe you?
Okay. Like you asked first, why Plateau First? For me, I put Plateau first before my personal self and personal ambition, right? And the reason I am into politics is not because of my personal self, but because of the people. Now, like I said, last election I contested and I came second in the primaries, but to prove to the people that yes, my ambition, it's not about myself and it's not a do or die, and I allowed the process to move freely without going to court. After that, truth be told, the Donald Trump America First, I don't know when it started, but for me, even the last election, that was my mantra, Plateau First, because that has been what is in my mind. And like I said, I'm a humanitarian. For everybody on the Plateau knows that I'm a humanitarian. I've done a lot of humanitarian activities that I can say boldly, by the grace of God. I don't think anybody on the Plateau has done what I've done for humanity. But again, doing all of that, I never envisaged I was going to go into politics. I was doing that as a responsibility that God has placed in my heart to do. And so that was even the reason, that was what gave me the drive to go into politics, because I discovered that no matter how much I want to reach out to the people, using my personal funds, based on the little resources that I was getting, it's not enough to reach out, because I can tell you, I've gone almost every place as far as Plateau is concerned. There are serious needs and the people are going through a lot. And so, that's the reason, and since then, that was when that thought came to my mind about Plateau First. And for me, generally, governance and living itself has to do with that humanity in someone, because that is the only reason you can get it right. If you have humanity in you, you will not think of embezzling government funds. If you have humanity in you, you will think of the people before anything. And those are the drives that pushed me to want to contest for election. And like I said, because it's not personal, the last time I didn't go to court because for me, when the right time comes, if God wishes or wants me to be there, I'm going to be there. So even in this now that I'm out, I told my people, my team, and my supporters, I want my politics to be issue-based and not personal attacks and not anything that has to do with any of such things. I want to discuss issues, and in those issues, if Plateau people believe in me, even based on my past antecedent, it is left for them to take the right decision, whether to continue with what they are saying today or to give me the opportunity and the mandate. Now, you asked a very important question. How or why do the people believe?
Why should they
believe in me? Now, I know very well and I believe strongly on the rotation system of government as far as Plateau is concerned. And if you go down the history, I think in 2019, no, not 2019, sorry, during the period that our former governor Lalong contested, there was an incumbent government which one of the stakeholders, our father Babajang, right, was the governor. And of course, in going to the next election, he brought someone again from his zone to contest. And that does not or did not resonate well with the people of Plateau State, and they took their decisions. And so I know the mindset of the people, and I'm keen into the mindset because I know that if I'm coming to do anything to the contrary, a normal Plateau man. Now, the Plateau person is the most conscientized person in terms of politics as far as Nigeria is concerned. They don't vote for anybody because of money. They vote based on the conscience and the realities on ground. And so, for me, if I don't key into that and I'm thinking of being greedy on my personal self and I want to push for second tenure of deceiving myself, I've had different discussions with a lot of people on this, and I told most of the stakeholders, I said, listen, I have a mindset of 110, and I intend, by the grace of God, to work 8 years in 4 years, if the opportunity is given to me. Reason being that, like I said, Plateau people are very conscientized electorate, and so they decide what they want. But again, if you work for 4 years and you've proven yourself, you don't have to request for another 4 years. It is the people that will decide whether you're going to come or not. And so, again, I have kids. My son, it's somebody too that is very ambitious. As I'm speaking to you now, I think there's an American school in just called Hillcrest. He's the student union president of the school. He equally have ambition. I don't think about myself. I think about him. If I relate in the present political agreement of the Plateau people, it's going to affect him. And like I keep telling myself now, this rotational system, before it goes back to the zone that I am, is going to take another 20 years if I don't make a mistake. Now, as at another 20 years, I will be 70 by the grace of God. That's if I'm alive. And so what now becomes of my son with his ambition if I decide to go contrary to what is happening today? So I've made up my mind already that my tenure is not going to go beyond 4 years. And I keep telling people too that the reason I am contesting for this governorship now is not because I had planned to contest this time around. My plan was to contest for Senate ab initio for this year because, of course, me and the governor used to be on the same platform of the PDP before he left for APC. And so, there was a vacuum, and of course, as a political party, we cannot just leave that vacuum because someone has left, and so someone has to be there. Okay. And that is why I decided to go for the governorship. Apart from that, because of the numerous things that I've seen, right, as far as governance is concerned, I tell people clearly, historically, everybody that have governed Plateau State have been coming from one particular background, the public sector background. I think I'm the only private sector background that have shown his face very boldly that want to contest for election, because I believe strongly that there are lots and lots of loopholes in governance, and I believe that governance should be driven like business for the for the benefit of the Plateau people.
All right, I'm sure Ayo has questions for you. Ayo, over to you.
Thank you, Malkwe. Politics will determine a lot of things as far as this this whole conversation is concerned. So I'm wondering, Mr. Ropshik, if I mean, you have made it clear, you know, the platform, the political platform, the wing of the PDP that you're in, do you think that the issue is fully resolved, done and dusted? Because there are those who would wonder, just as you said, it's only the political party's logo that is going to be on the ballot, not the individuals. Yes, and at the end of the day, should there be an election and should the PDP win, for instance, the likelihood of you just collecting the certificate without resolving the issues now might be an issue. I think something similar to what we're talking about here now happened in Rivers State some time back. Well, so how, in your opinion, do you think the resolution, the peace resolution, is going or should be settled once and for all, so that there is no confusion at the end of the day?
Okay, you see, at this point, I believe strongly that a lot of legal issues have been coming and have come and gone, right? And so the recent one is the judgment that was given from the Federal High Court. I think that explains everything, and I believe strongly that the PDP issue is being done and dusted. Looking at the last judgment, you can see explicitly that I think part of the grounds that the Turaki-led faction went to court was for the courts, according to them, to enforce the judgment. Now, we keep missing the point about the judgment. You know, for some of us, the judgment is simply about the Ibadan Convention, and so that says it all. So there's no court that's going to repeat the issue of the convention. But again, what they're holding on to is the decision of the BOT to bring a caretaker committee, which, to start with, I think they made a mistake by bringing the same people that were elected in Ibadan to come and be caretaker committees. Now, if you are trying to resolve
those issues,
as
my sincere apologies. I mean, those issues you've already spoken about it, decisively. I just wanted to be sure that there is clarity in the party as to who are the authentic INEC recognized candidates, especially since you said the other time that there's someone else who is contesting for the same seat as you are in Plateau State. One other issue that is similar is that there is a faction of the PDP calling for former President Goodluck Jonathan to contest again on bearing the ticket of the PDP. Is your party in any way or by any chance confirming? Are you confirming that, or is it something that is not part of your own faction of the PDP? And what are your thoughts on the idea?
Like all of us know, the person that's been pushed forward to contest for presidency have not responded. He has neither said whether he's contesting or not. But again, that aside, that is not what I'm talking about. Like I said, even if he wants to contest or not, the legality of that has not been ascertained. What we are talking about today is the fact that, the recognized PDP faction is the Abdurrahman-led faction, right? And I hate to call it faction because I believe that PDP are one and PDP should be one. And so, what I advise even the Turaki-led faction is reconciliation. How do we now all come together to work for the benefit of the party? If genuinely they are working for the interest of the party, then this distraction is not needed. And that's the truth. Now, this used to be a very big family that was working together, or that used to be together. What I don't like is it seems is a personal interest that is being played out and not the interest of the party or the interest of the people. Now, we should put the people first before any political crisis, and that is my own mindset. And that's the reason why I was able to reach out to the other faction. They didn't reach out to me. I reached out to them because I believe strongly that if we work together, if genuinely the whole interest is about the people, then everyone should put his personal difference aside and work for the interest of the party. Because like I said, it is the party that is going to be on the ballot and not any individual. So the whole goal, it should be about winning the next election and not about personal selves.
Can you give us three measurable things, three things that the people of Plateau State can see and measure that you intend to achieve in the 4 years that you will serve should you be elected?
Fantastic.
You can do that in a minute or two.
Yeah, sure. But like I said, my mantra is Plateau first. And so the reason for Plateau first is because I'm thinking of the people first. Secondly, security of the state. Thirdly, the economy of the state. And fourthly, and most importantly for me again, the unity of the state.
Let's take security. What do you intend to do differently that is not being done now?
What I intend to do differently is about smart security. I call it smart security because the world is going digital. You cannot fight the normal crisis that we're going through now without technology, right? The truth is this: we intend to have a control and command center that will oversee all the borders and the nooks and crannies of Plateau.
To the best of your knowledge, that is not being done at the moment?
To the best of my knowledge, that is not being done. And I wanted using this opportunity strongly to call out. If you remember, the last time the president was on the Plateau, he landed at the airport and never got into town, right? But again, he made some certain promises for the people of Plateau State. And if I remember very vividly, he spoke to the Minister of Communication then, Bosu, and gave him a directive, right, to have cameras around Plateau State and its environs. Now the question is, what has happened since after then, right? And so we believe strongly that the government should be accountable and responsible for any promises made to the people. So I am calling on the state government, not with any bias or political reasons, that Plateau people need to know that after that pronouncement, what happened? Have they gone to the president to demand for these cameras? When are they going to be deployed? The people of Plateau needs to know. And who is going to be in charge of the command and control? Now, if the federal government is giving those cameras, is it going to be controlled by the federal government, or the control and command center is going to be on the Plateau? Because the Plateau people need to need to take the ownership of the security of the state. So what is happening? Why haven't these cameras been deployed? Now, is it that the president failed to? Is it that the president failed in his promise, or it is the follow-up system that is a problem? We need to know, because the Plateau people need accountability in things like that, and they need feedback every time any promise is being given. So, but again, I think that solely was the president being human in trying to put that. But again, all these are equally meant to be the responsibility of the state government. Now, if you look at what is happening in Enugu State, the command and control center in Enugu State is one of the best that we think that outside Plateau State, every state government should equally adapt. Because in doing that, if neighboring states too are doing what the government is doing, it then means that there's going to be even border control and security checks among all the neighboring states.
So you intend to deliver a smart security system that focuses very strongly on command?
Yes, not just the smart security system. We need to equally have men on ground that will equally do the groundwork, and that's the truth. And so when it comes to that too, you see, one of the major problems we're having is the issue of the welfare of the security personnel that operate in different states. But let me stick to my state. The welfare of the security of the state needs to be taken into serious consideration. And apart from that, operational equipment like vehicles and should be given or supporting those security agencies. Now, I've had different meetings with most of them, and I realize that there are lots and lots of lapses. Now, I am not here to talk negatively about anybody, but I'm here to discuss my state, Plateau. And all of the criticisms that we're doing is so that the government can sit upright and do what is right. I tell people that I'm not in this contest because I want to battle anybody. I'm here because I want to provide a solution that I think strongly is not on ground.
Well, I do know that we'll be catching up with you and some of the other solutions that you intend to provide the people of Plateau when campaigns kick off properly. We have to thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. Chief Kefas Ropshik is the PDP 2027 governorship candidate for Plateau State that has been recognized by INEC because his name has been uploaded on the system. We have to thank you for speaking with us and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the time is not enough. I thought we were going to be discussing a lot of things about how Plateau stand to benefit.
We will catch up with you another time. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me on Walkway.
We'll take a break, a very short break, and we'll be back to discuss other matters when we come back. To stay with us.
look at the bishops of the Catholic Church and insult them. Now you look at him and you insult him because he has come to see the president. So when the president has said to you, all is fair in politics, when the Catholic Church is crying about the possibility of having an election that may not be fair, what the president needs to do is to reassure the country. APC and PDP and ADC, they will slug it out in the and even field. When the president continues to tell the public like he will win the election at all costs until we get to the field. Whatever the president wants us to do at the field, we will do it at the field. So for me, I'm not worried about what he wants to do. Whether he will wrestle, he won't wrestle. We will meet at the field. We will meet there. We will meet there. Nigeria has to be rescued, but that's not the issue. The issue is that what the president and his men are doing is insulting my faith. Then you look at the cardinal who, by the way, is appointed by the Vatican. The Catholic Church is the only church in the world that has ecclesiastical sacramental. So you have the Vatican, which is political, and you have the Catholic Church. Then you look at these people and you begin to insult the cardinal. Not only are you insulting a cardinal, we are 35 million Catholics and you're insulting us. The church has the responsibility of speaking truth to power. And they do it from time to time. In the case of Buhari, they protested on the street. Did you hear Buhari insult them? The Catholic Church has no political leaning. In fact, that's where they make a mistake. Cardinal Onaiyekan himself supports nobody. I've had several conversations with him. The only thing that pains him is the level of indiscretion and poverty in the country and corruption.
Where should the line be?
Do you know what I'm here?
Yeah.
I just think that they try to intimidate Onaiyekan. Because the election is very far away, so they are trying to intimidate him the way that they try to intimidate the population.
Well, that's part of our next conversation this morning with Tunde Bankantini, who is an APC chieftain. He joins us virtually. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Bankantini.
Good morning, Mr. Makinde. How are you?
Well, we're good and we trust you are as well. Let's take on that conversation that's been on for a bit following the visit of Catholic clerics to the president. A lot of brickbats have been flying around, and this latest one that you just heard is from the former governor of Rivers State and former Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi. What are your thoughts? What exactly are people not seeing that is probably playing out right here, right now?
Well, you see, with due respect to Amechi, that was total misrepresentation of what happened between the president and the Catholic team that went to see him. That was total misrepresentation on side of Amechi to start with. And you see, some people in government cry more than the bereaved. The president was generous enough, magnanimous enough to sit with these men of God. And they had a discussion. And they agreed on some issue, they disagreed on some issues. Cardinal Olorunfemi John Onaiyekan has been somebody this president has a lot of respect for. I recollect back in our days in exile, one of the few voices against Abacha in Abuja, and we always speak about this man. So I don't see the disrespect there. I mean, if you are talking about the spokesman, maybe Daniel Bawal or whatever he calls himself, that's his own take. The president sat with them, listened to them, agreed with them, they disagree with him on issues. It is normal. It is not an issue of disrespecting. No way. If you know this job with Tinubus, they grew up in what we call Popo Aguda in Lagos, which is Popo Aguda is the Catholic suburb of Lagos. So the issue of disrespect, the biggest and the first cathedral in Nigeria is the Popo Aguda Holy Cross Cathedral. So I mean, when you talk about things, you need to be close to someone to know the person very well. So we should stop getting emotional, stop trying to misrepresent to score cheap points. We saw the interview of the State House clearly, right? Cardinal came to our studio, he gave his report, and he said it there himself. The president gave them the audience. After the whole thing, they took pictures together. But if you know who the president is, he takes no prisoners. He will say it's mine. It's human. You understand me? But the problem here is, you see, when you get too visible, you are too consistent, you become a problem. But the attack on Bola Tinubu is not about his government. The attack is politics. The government is performing. So we should not probably mix the two together. These are people who, what they could not achieve, they see in him politically. What they could not achieve in government, they see in him in terms of governance. So it becomes a target for them. And it's only natural. You understand me?
Well, you know, Mr. Bankantini, my apologies. Yeah, my apologies. There are some of the issues that they raise with the president, you know, are no less valid of how severely people are being affected by some of the policies of the federal government. Yes, in some other cases, the federal government has advised that the states should step in and try to mediate so that they make lives easier for their people. But then, is it really out of place, the issues raised, which Cardinal Onaiyekan also raised on air with some other people?
Well, you see, that's why I said a lot of misrepresentation. The president tell any of them that he has just an issue that is beyond him. No, he responded to them. People are not crying more than the bereaved on this. I've seen some people in clerical who are not part of this team trying to twist what the man has said. You see, like you said, right, there are issues there, but don't let's be fooled. The microeconomics, our markets, I mean, things are a bit hard. I will not deceive you. People cry. People say things are hard. Some as we speak today, our markets are not empty. I'm not telling you we are not feeding. No, we are feeding. And as I tell you today, the macro of it as well. Nigeria Stock Exchange is the best in the world today. Check it. The best stock market in the world today is Nigeria stock market. It is obvious. They are doing something. That will not be talked about by this government. Go and check it out. I'm telling you with all authority. Our stock exchange today, in dollar term, we are the best right now in the world. We are the best. We are doing better than any other country in the world today. Okay. So what are you talking about?
Well, a number of things have also arisen over time, Mr. Bankantini, and the scandal produced by the PFIPC issue is not abating. House of Representatives is doing its bit now, but then the man himself is already crying wolf, asking that he be allowed to testify as well because he is being made a scapegoat of sorts. I don't know what your claim, what your thoughts are, particularly given the fact that he also said he hasn't been acting alone, and of course, it's not possible for him to have done all of that alone, is it?
You know, that's why I'm worried with some of our institutions in this country. Imagine a Congress in America has demanded someone to be brought to Congress and you disobeyed. No. The police must produce the man to testify. The Speaker of the House must insist on that. So, I mean, we should not try and make it as if the government is covering up. We have seen the head of service, we have seen the Accountant General, Auditor General. The man is claiming that gave him appointment. He said himself, he didn't even know this guy. He never met this guy. He has taken him to court. He has sued him. So, I mean, but the point is that we keep trying so hard to make a mountain out of a molehill. Let them bring this guy out. The police has no right to disobey our parliament or in that regard. We need to build, even the president does not have to tell ICPC to probe the issue. They should do it without telling them. They have a role, they have a function, they have a responsibility. We should stop fulfilling these agencies on what to do. Maybe the president needs a cabinet enforcer that will take all these issues, because you don't need the president to tell the police to go and arrest somebody. Something is wrong, something is bad. Like, that is your job to do. You don't need to watch what the president wants to say or what the governor wants to say before you know you take your action to understand what's really going on. You have to unravel the facts yourself. That is your job. That is your job, for God's sake.
But then it isn't so far away as well, because we know that some top government officials, just as you have mentioned, the HOS has come out to say that there is a vulnerability in the system that was exploited, and also indications from other sources that this is probably not the only scandal of its kind that we are having to deal with now. What exactly would you propose should be done now, even as the investigations are ongoing on this particular single matter? What are your thoughts on, first of all, the allegations that have been made, the things that have been exposed, the responsibilities that have been taken going forward?
Well, you see, I will agree with it without a doubt. These are an eye-opener. They are lapses. A lot of items are very vulnerable because, you see, Nigerians were, you forget so easily. And most of us are guilty of abusing the system. I mean, you can imagine back in the days that, do you know how many stewards that people will collect a Nigerian passport for to take them away to be a man to their children? Hopefully they are not Nigeria, but thank God that could not happen anymore now. We have a more digitalized system in place. You see, we need to deep down. A lot of little things that we ignore is happening. I'm telling you, what is happening now is an eye-opener. If you could remember, if you go to University Nigeria, we have some people who will be in Unilag, who will be in Ife 35 years, but they are not students of the university. But people will be arguing that but they are not really students there. Those are the kind of things that has become our custom. We are used to. But at the end of the day, gradually now, we are taking this, we are trying to separate the chaff gradually from the wheat. And we are doing that. So, but this is not a personal thing. This is something that it should be a revolutionary means in government to sort out a lot of things. And I believe it will be going on by that because a lot of mistakes have been made. People have taken things for granted. That it's a Nigerian matter, we cross it. But right now, with something like this happening, right? I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but it's not too late. It will be addressed. And we hope we will get to the bottom of this matter.
Well, I was actually hoping I would be able to put in a word, Marco, but I guess it's about the much we can take this morning. Mr. Tunde Bankantini, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts on the program today. We appreciate you and we hope to engage you some other time on other issues.
Thank you very much.
And that's the show this morning. Thank you so much for the privilege of being a part of your morning. I'm Maya Makinde. Business Morning is on the hour. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, if you intend to go out in the Federal Capital Territory this morning, it's an overcast day, as you might already have seen. We're going to beg you to please drive carefully and be mindful of other road users. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day. I'm Maupe Ogunyisi. Goodbye.